At the end of the day, I asked myself one question: can I take one more step? And usually the answer is yes. So if you can answer that question and not take another step, that is real failure. That is real quitting. So a lot of people can take one more step, but they choose not to. I don't know if you can take 2 steps. You got to answer that question after you take the first step. But I can always take one more step. So if I choose not to, that's on me. And I got to live with that. Most people think I'm just some great animal who runs and yells and just says in mother all the time. And that's nowhere near the truth. That's maybe what they see in a 1-minute video. And that's what people believe. But there's a lot of thought behind a person being a born loser, becoming who I am today. You don't just wake up and just Rocky. You got to wake up and think about, there's a process to getting better. For me, I built Goggins from the ground up. I was born David Goggins. David Goggins wasn't good enough. He was a scared, bullied, abused kid. That kid, whenever something got tough, no matter how hard I trained, no matter how ready I was, whenever something got tough for me, David Goggins, the real David Goggins, would come out and he would quit. So I realized this over a period of time. So I had to build Goggins. And in that process, I have to go back to that mental lab. And that mental lab is at scratch. That mental lab is in that trained humility. And so that's where I get better. I get better when I'm digging holes in the ground, when I'm waking up early knowing I don't have to do these things. That's where I get better.
I just got to run a 120-mile week, 2,000 pull-ups, 4,000 push-ups, and hundreds of reps at the gym. I hear it all the time. Goggins has a great message, but you don't want to end up like him. His body's all f***ed up. You're not afraid of having a f***ed up body. You're afraid of f***ing effort. See, what you don't understand is this. We're all being tested. And that road to success is a bumpy ass road. Has the potholes, nails, detours and shit. Yeah. A lot of you are gonna die with a nicely preserved body. No plates, no bad knees, no bruises, no scars. Stay hard.
There's this big category of people I'm realizing as we have this conversation today that they're not super successful, they're not struggling. Mm-hmm. They're like successful enough that they never have to, you can get to the point where you don't have to impose friction. You even said it.
Right.
Your bank account is in a place where you don't really need to do all the things you do, probably not even a small fraction of them.
Do nothing.
Right. But you realize the stick and being haunted is the fuel in the engine.
Right.
And you'd be truly crazy to give that up because you've internalized all that.
Right.
But most people, they're good enough.
Yep.
For them.
Yep.
And so they don't actually want to be better badly enough in order to start going rung after rung.
Well, think about when you build willpower and think about how much I've built. Now that you know about this, I didn't know about this, but think about how much I've built. Everything I've ever done in my life, I didn't want to do. Everything, every day. I'm a lazy piece of shit. And I'm one of the hardest working people that ever stepped foot on this planet Earth. And I'm saying that very proudly because I know what I do. It's not cocky. I'll tell you I'm stupid. And I'll also tell you the exact opposite of what I've done. It's the truth. It is the truth. So imagine how much I've developed in that time frame. But it's the scary thing. Why most people don't want to do that, build that willpower, is because it is scary. It unlocks a whole bunch of things about who you are and who you're not. And a lot of people don't want to go down that journey to discover who they are and who they're not. Because it's not a pretty journey. I mean, I've gone down it. It's not like I went down it once. I go down it all the time. And when you unlock that, and you can't just turn it off. Like people say, hey, well, how come you haven't retired yet?
I built all this willpower. Do you think it's gonna let me just retire because my knees hurt? It's telling me every morning, I wake up like, man, my knees hurt, my legs hurt, my body hurts, but you can still run. So why aren't you running? If you can still run, there'll be a time when you can't lace them up anymore, but you can still run. So I still run. When the time comes I can't run, the body will say, you just can't run. But if I can still do something, that willpower that I have created, it makes me do it every fucking day. And that's what they don't get. What builds a human being is you start with the small building blocks. And before you know it, man, you become something that it doesn't even make sense to most people because it's just who you are now. That's why I can still run at 50 at 49 with broke down knees and broke down body, because my body knows you still can. Therefore I do. Second you stop, the willpower is gone. And that's beautiful. I'm so glad you brought that to me, because I always wonder, what's this separation thing now? At 24 years old, I started building something that I didn't even know was going to be what it is now at 49. And that's all it was just that.
The biggest thing you have to do is shut off technology. You have to go dark. And what I mean by that is you have to be quiet in your mind, get away from people. We love being around people. We love talking. We love parties. We love all that. It's okay to be alone. It's also okay to be unhappy. It's okay to be unhappy sometimes, man. It's okay to say, you know what, man, I'm up. So you gotta go to the truth first. Who are you? You get really accountable and say, okay, who am I? What's the truth about me? Get to that dark place in your mind. Figure out, it may take months, it may take years. Figure out your purpose. Figure out what you want to be in life. And then from there, okay, I have my purpose. It may take a long time. No one knows their purpose because it's too loud. Find your purpose. From there, all right, you gotta start planning. People love the planning phase because it's very comfortable. And then from the planning phase, you gotta go to execution. So the execution phase where we all hate, because that's where the real work begins, and that's when the failure happens, and the failure. So, but you know, that's kind of how you have to do it, because every day is a battle. Every day is a battle because your mind wants to choose the path of least resistance every day. But you don't become better by ever doing that. You become normal, and I don't want to be normal. So it may not be a life for everybody, but I find a lot of peace in not being normal in my life.
I'm not the smartest kid in the world. Okay. Instead of somebody saying, oh no, you're smart. No, don't say that to yourself. I said to myself, no, I'm a dumb motherfucker. Okay, roger that. How you get smarter? Educate yourself. So the things that we run from the truth. We're running from the truth, man. So the only way I became successful was going towards the truth. As painful and as brutal as it is, it changed me. It allowed me to become, in my own right, who I am today. So hopefully I can help people that believe that they're much less than what they truly are. Help them find greatness in themselves. And greatness isn't running 200 miles at a time or doing 4,000 pull-ups or being a SEAL. Greatness is whatever the hell you dreamed of in your own mind. You got to first see it. You got to first create this vision in your mind. And then that's when I come into play. Once you create this vision in your mind, it's how am I going to get there now? And that's when I come into play. But first you got to create your own vision. And it's not external. It's the vision created is inside of you. So until you create that, I'm nobody to you.
So I had two choices. Either I was going to sit in that failure and give up, or I was going to make a decision to step out of the darkness. You see, when you're in that darkness, you want to sit there and wait for the light to come. When you're in that darkness, it feels uncomfortable, but you can't wait. The only way out is to step forward, to face your fears, to become your own light. I had to believe in myself like never before. I had to find my inner power. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. There's gonna be a lot of times y'all about to fail. we are all a work in progress. And one day, you'll be sitting in the dark like I was, and you're gonna be asking yourself, what am I gonna do now? But in that moment, I want you to remember the power of you. You will change the world.
When crises strike in your life, and in the Chinese language, crises mean danger, but it also means opportunity. And this is an opportunity for you to grow. And you've got to be so relentless, regardless of what comes down the pike, that you're always looking for a way to get over, always looking for a way that you can break through, always looking for a way that you can win, always looking for a way that you can strike a telling blow. Telling yourself every day, here I go again. And I got what it takes. This is my day, and nothing out here is going to stop me.
Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. And what you have to understand is, I do what beasts do. And you cannot just say you want it. It's cute to say it. But when it's showtime, when the sun comes out, you got all the books, you got all the tapes, you got all the access. Now it's time to hunt. And what separates you from everybody else is that when it's time to hunt, you're ready to hunt. A true hunter hunts. A true hunter's goal is not the prize. A true hunter's goal is to hunt. That's what they live for. They live to hunt. They don't just live to catch it. It's the whole process. When you are a true hunter, you don't hunt from 8 to 3. Why? Because the gazelle may not be open from 8 to 3. You hunt until you get a gazelle, and you don't stop until you get one.
You will never know that you have faith until you're in a good fight. Real faith is proven in the furnace of affliction, in the time of adversity. You're stronger than you think you are. You're tougher than you think you are. You can go through more than you think you can. This ain't no time to buckle. This ain't no time to collapse. This ain't no time to give up. You may look bad for a little while, but stay. You might be embarrassed, but stay. No devil in hell can destroy you if you keep in the back of your mind, I'm coming out of this. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I do know that before it's over, I'm coming out of this. Be strong! When the voices rise up in you and say you're not good enough, be strong! And say, I've come too far to turn around.